having me out here. Excited to tell you about how we're making the oil and gas industry cleaner and safer. So we're an early revenue company located in Sterling, Virginia. And the problem we're working on is the inspection of crude oil tanks. So crude oil tanks, if you don't know much about them, they're absolutely enormous. They're as much as 300 foot in diameter, 8 stories tall, and they're federally mandated to be internally inspected every 10 years. Problem with this is the only way to do these inspections currently is to send manned crews into the tank. The only way to do that is you drain the oil from the tank. That leaves about 2 feet worth of sludge and sediment. So it's about 5 football fields worth of toxic sludge and sediment that has to be manually evacuated from the tank. That process, it's dangerous. You have to send crews in there in order to evacuate that. It releases tons of VOCs into the atmosphere, and then all that toxic sludge has to be environmentally remediated. So the solution for this is we actually inject a robot into the side of the tank and automate the entire process. We actually are able to do this while the tank remains in service and keeps all of the sludge and sediment in the tank. So we actually have a patented technology that's able to reduce the viscosity of the sludge and sediment and have the robot maneuver directly in the sludge and sediment to deliver sensors and do the integrity inspections. This eliminates all of the environmental problems as well as the dirty, dangerous work. So this is an $18 billion market. There's about 45,000 of these tanks in service around the world. They're inspected typically about every 10 years, so about 4,500 of these done annually, and it costs about $4 million in order to do one of these inspections, mostly because of all that toxic sludge that needs to be removed. So we do have competition. 100% of the competition requires the tanks to be taken offline and send in manned crews in order to do this. We are the only company that's been able to demonstrate an ability to keep the tank in service, reduce the carbon footprint, eliminate those 2,000 hours of confined space entry, and keep the tank in service during inspection. So we have fantastic partners. We have public partnerships announcements with both BP and Chevron on this. We have 10 commitments for field testing, 27 customers engaged, and we're in the early revenue stage. We should receive about $500,000 this year, and we have for our first pilot programs, which will be in Q3 of this year. We have a fantastic team with 57 combined years in the energy field, $1.6 billion in acquisitions, and over $1 billion in exits. In terms of how we're going to deliver this, it will be a robot as a service. We'll be delivering service directly to companies like BP and Chevron. The expectation is to do $2 million in revenue per inspection. Because we're not removing any of that sludge or sediment, we're actually able to eliminate nearly all of our costs. It only costs us about $200,000 in order to deliver a service, giving us about $1.8 million gross margin on a service. Our target is to hit 50 inspections annually by 2027, giving us a $100 million ARR. And what's really driving this growth is the fact that we'll save customers about $7 million per inspection. So we're doing a 1.7 million raise right now. We have 1.4 million committed. We have $300,000 open. We do have Chryslex Venture Capital as our lead on this. This is intended to get us finish our MVP, get us into pilot programs with those commitments we have with BP and Chevron, and ultimately move us into our first commercialized service. And again, those pilot programs will be in Q3 of this year. So I want to say thanks for your time and look forward to talking to you afterwards.